Do you ever make an impulse buy late at night and then forget about it until it shows up in your mailbox? I forgot that I ordered this. I hope it's what I think it is. Don't want to damage it. Ladies and gentlemen, the new book by Geezer Butler. And there you go. Look at that. Whoops. That's Geezer Butler's signature. If you don't know who this guy is, you are not a rock fan in my book. Bass player for Black Sabbath. Easily one of my top 5 favorite rock bass players. I don't really actually know any other genre of bass players. So one of my top 5 bass players. I came relatively late in life to the music of Black Sabbath. I've probably been listening to them for only maybe 8 years or so at this point. I mean, it's been a while. But they were not a band that I got into as a kid. You know, they were a 70s band who had kind of already peaked by the time I got into listening to music. So I discovered them for myself relatively late. His bass playing, so Tony Iommi has this really, really, distinct way of playing guitar. He gets credited, well, the whole band gets credited, but he gets credited, I think, in particular, for basically inventing this genre of heavy metal music. It was his very last day at the machine shop. He was working at a steel plant or a machine plant or something like that, and they put him on a press cutter, and he cut his fingertips off, and he thought that was the end of his guitar career. But he crafted fake fingertips out of leather, and I think it was like a piece of like dishwashing soap bottles or something like that. And so he was able to play. Check it out. There's Tony Iommi's fake fingertips. Nice close up. And he tuned his guitars down so the strings were looser, and he raised the action to make it possible for him to play with his fake fingertips. And so he would get these dark, rich tones. And he's not a shredding guitar player. There's a lot of melody and a lot of chunkiness and a lot of darkness in it. And the dude, not single-handedly, but had a big part in creating a whole entire genre of music that you could argue is actually one of the more successful genres of rock music. Heavy metal has never died. It's had some low points, such as the mid-'80s. Not everybody was bad in the mid-'80s, but, there was a reason why grunge, which actually takes more of the Black Sabbath sound than like a lot of those hair bands in the 80s. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm really excited to read this book. I read Tony Iommi's book, and it was really, really fascinating. So I think what I'll do, for me, this is easy reading. This is the stuff that I like to read before I go to bed at night. It's relaxing. So I'll probably read it in little chunks, and I might do videos about it because I like when I hear them describing things or songs or something. Like, I will go and listen to it, and especially if there are live performances. And I will talk more about why I like his bass playing so much. Great combination of finesse and heaviness. And in the 3-piece band, guitar, bass, and drums, he, along with people like John Entwistle from The Who, know exactly when to just like hit that big root note, stay on the power chord, and when to, do stuff to fill in. And his playing along with Tony Iommi together, great combination. Audio's not great on this, but just listen to the way that bass just pumps and pulses. Look at that big smile from Tony Iommi. Good stuff. One of my favorite things about the way he plays and the way John Entwistle plays also is that, when the guitar drops out to solo, which Pete Townsend doesn't solo very often, Tony Iommi does quite a bit. They can manage to hold it down, and it doesn't, like the fullness is still there. And I just think that's a real skill. And I'm talking as somebody who was in a band, a 3-piece, and it was tricky. It was tricky for us to do that. And, the guitar player has some of the responsibility for that, and the bass player has some of the responsibility for that, and the drummer. But I just feel like Black Sabbath nails it. So I am really looking forward to reading the Geezer Butler book, and I will add it to my collection of rock and roll memorabilia, which is not extensive. I have my Louise Post signed SG pick guards, a couple other Louise Post things. That's it. I would love to have something from Blondie before they check out. But anyway, so I saw them talking on Instagram about this book. Signed copies like $18 or something like that. It's like, how could I not do that? And I don't even really care if the book is crap. It's signed by Geezer Butler. So, and that's the alarm going off telling me my lasagna is done. So I will see you later.